take responsibility and structure yourself properly. There was one trader I'd learned from. He was a trader from the Philadelphia Exchange. And I remember him saying, if you lose too much money, you can't trade. If you make too much money, you can't trade. I remember I was like, 21, 22. I was like, well, what is he saying? If you make too much money, you can't trade. What a ridiculous thing, like, why am I listening to this guy? But he was pointing out to the emotional balance. If that goes off, you're in big trouble. And the problem is that you kind of sow the seeds for your defeat in the good times. No one was worried about markets a month ago when everything was rolling fine. If anything, they're probably still ramping up leverage. So always trying to keep that balanced neutrality is just so key. And I think it spans across your life. If you want to make this a real business and you don't want it to be something that just boom busts and that's for entertainment and all the rest, again, I think the core principle is it's got to be run like a business process. It's got to be from the top to the bottom, structure, discipline. And I think that's where you get your chance to kind of be the few that do really well versus most who don't. So that's just
I believe that to the core. My whole life is almost everything that goes on in my life is centered around that very idea, and it's stupid in a lot of ways because what's the point? I'm trading to make money, okay? Clearly, that's what I'm doing, right? It's about the money. But you know what? I don't spend any money. I don't even need the money. But one is the other, right? The fact that I don't spend any money means that I don't have financial pressure, means that I can ride out the drawdowns and get to the good times, right? Because I don't have any loans. I don't have any leverage in my life. I don't spend money above my means, and I've been that way for a very long time, right? That's what increases my chances of being successful in trading. One is the other, and it seems pretty stupid. So what's the point? What's the point of sitting here trying to make money all the time if then you don't spend any?
Well, it's balance. I mean, obviously, we still want to have a good time. You want to enjoy life, but it's same with me. Some of the best traders I've traded with that I know that have blown up, it's because they overspend the good times, and you get these habits that you can't sustain and draw down, and again that leads to maybe it's your wife who's saying like, "What do you mean we can't go on this lavish vacation that we took 3 times last year because your Nvidia trade didn't do well?" So it's all linked, but I think that the right amount of spending is part of the balance. The kind of drawdown you take is the right kind of balance. The kind of position size is part of the balance. And that's got to be figured out for each person, but it's the full cycle you got to get through. It's not just the ups leg. It's not just the down leg. It's the chop. It's the drawdown. It's the month by month, like lifestyle needs that you have. When you solve all that equation, then it's a beautiful thing. But those are all, I mean, we always look in the books. We always learn how to interpret a stock chart, one stock chart at a time. And then suddenly you're dropped in the market. You're managing a portfolio of 10 stocks with things coming out that you didn't realize, with life pressures and a tax bill and life, life drawdown. And it's a whole different equation. So taking a step, that's why I think for the vast majority of people, even if you are going to trade or you want to active trade or get into the business, unless you're backed by someone who's giving you capital and you have some experience already, or the money's not important to you, for most people, this is something you should, if you have money coming from somewhere else, that's the best way to kind of start learning this business. Because if you're going to try and jump in with 2 feet without adequate experience on the whole front, including the lifestyle part of things, then you've just made the whole business even harder for yourself.
It's a horrible primary income. Trading is a horrible primary income. Horrible. For all those reasons, for all those psychological reasons. As soon as you need to make money to live, your chances just went down by a lot.
Speaking of Livermore, there's the story where they wanted to buy this fancy coat and they were all trading to make the money to buy the coat. And everybody, he finally went out and bought the coat and just said, "Here, whoever wants to take it," because we're all blowing out trying to make this money for this coat. So it's, again, a 100-year-old story is still true. That makes it a truism in my